Now that we have this, the problem is Frida looks like she's in one layer and the background looks like it's another. And I really want these two things to kind of coincide and look similar to Candy Wiley's work, like some of the pattern is in front of her. And there's a really cool way we can do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to our pattern layer and we're going to duplicate it. So I can click on these three little dots or right click and I'm just going to hit duplicate. So I should have, a pattern and a pattern. I'm going to name this top pattern just for myself. And I'm going to drag the top pattern, you guessed it, on the top. Now Frida's gone, it's okay, don't worry, we're going to see her in a second. Now I want to think what parts of this pattern would be best kind of overlapping Frida. So if I hide this, I'm going to say that I would like maybe one or two of these leaves to go in front of her, maybe right around here. So I'm going to lock Frida because I don't want to accidentally move her. So I can click on her, hit locked, so I don't mess up my Frida that I worked so hard on. Now I'm going to go to my top pattern. I'm going to look, I'm like, okay, and this is going to be up to you, but you want a few pieces. Let's say like 3 pieces of your pattern to kind of pop forward on your Frida. So I'm going to hide Frida for a second, and I'm going to select out this part of the succulent because I think that'll be really nice in front of her. So I'm going to zoom super close here. I'm going to hit the visible, right? I just want to cut parts of my selection out. So the same technique, right? Bezier lasso tool, and I'm going to just select out like one of these succulents to show you how this looks. Now that I have a selection, I'm going to repeat the same technique. I'm going to zoom out just so you can see. I want the opposite of this because I want the flower to stay, or the succulent. I'm going to hit select, invert, and I'm going to hit delete, and I'm on my top pattern. So it's not going to look like much right now, but once I show my Frida back and I deselect, now part of this pattern looks like it's over Frida, but technically what we have is a pattern sandwich. We have the top pattern I selected, just cut out. We have Frida, and then we have the back pattern. And you can do this with any of the patterns provided. Obviously they look a little different, but you want a few little things on top. So if I was going to do the next thing, I would repeat the same technique. I would duplicate this. I'd put this as top pattern 2, right? And then I think about what part I want to cover Frida. Maybe I want this succulent to come out in front of Frida. I would select it out and repeat it again. When you're done, you should have a portrait that looks like it's really part of the pattern, not just slapped on the pattern. You're going to repeat the same technique for one more portrait. Okay? When you are done, you're submitting this as a JPEG and submitting it through Google Classroom as an assignment.